Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to sit up for this. Lean in, listen closely, because what I'm about to say might just shift the way you look at your life forever. Your struggle is your strength. Yeah, I know. That doesn't feel true when you're in it. When life punches you in the gut, when you're overwhelmed, broken, broke, lost, strength is the last thing you feel. You feel like you're drowning. You feel alone. You feel like no one sees you. But here's what I've learned: the most powerful, resilient, driven, and compassionate people you'll ever meet. They're not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who struggled, who suffered, who fought to keep going. You think strength comes from comfort? No way. Strength is forged like steel, in fire, in resistance, in pain. Every single obstacle you're facing right now is not a stop sign. It's a redirection. It's life saying, there's more in you. Let's bring it out. You want confidence? Get through something hard. You want self-respect? Stop quitting when it's uncomfortable. You want to trust yourself? Keep showing up even when no one else is clapping. Let me tell you something about pain. It's not just there to hurt you, it's there to wake you up, to strip away the fluff and the excuses and the fake stuff and show you what you're really made of. You want to know who you really are? Go through hell and watch who shows up. And here's the wild thing. Sometimes your struggle is your preparation. Life isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. That setback, maybe it's building patience. That heartbreak, maybe it's teaching you self-love. That failure, maybe it's pushing you toward your real path. But you have to stop running from it. Stop numbing yourself with distractions. Stop pretending you're fine when you're not. Own it, face it, feel it, and then use it. There was a time in my life when I thought I was done. I mean done. Rock bottom. I didn't know how to get up. And do you know what saved me? One tiny voice inside that whispered, "Not like this." That voice was my strength. Buried under the fear, under the anxiety, under the shame, but it was there. And you have that voice too. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to decide that your struggle doesn't get to win. You do. Because you're stronger than you think, you're braver than you know, and you've already survived everything life has thrown at you so far. That's not luck, that's strength. So don't you dare give up on yourself. Not now, not after all you've been through. I want you to start seeing your scars differently. They're not reminders of pain. They're proof that you healed, proof that you kept going. Every time you got knocked down, you got up. Maybe slower than you wanted, maybe crying, maybe crawling. But you're here. And I want you to remember this the next time life gets heavy. Your struggle is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your power. Don't you dare waste it. Use it. Because the world needs what you've learned. The world needs your voice, your grit, your fight, your truth. So walk tall, scars and all. Your strength isn't in spite of your struggle. It's because of it. Pain is not just something to endure. It is a teacher, a compass, and a catalyst for growth if you choose to let it be. Most people try to avoid pain at all costs. We've been conditioned to seek comfort, to numb discomfort, to escape anything that feels hard or unpleasant. But let's be honest, thou. Much of your growth came from the easy stuff. How many times did you become stronger, smarter, more aware when things were going perfectly? Probably not often. It's the uncomfortable moments, the setbacks, the rejections, and the personal battles that really shape you. Pain has a way of cracking you open, revealing layers of yourself you didn't know existed. It humbles you, sure, but it also invites you to dig deeper. When you're hurting, you're no longer distracted by surface level noise. You're forced to pay attention. That heartbreak you went through, it taught you what love asterisk is an asterisk, so you could start defining what it is. That failure, It exposed the areas you needed to improve, not to shame you, but to push you toward mastery. That betrayal? It taught you boundaries, discernment, and the ability to trust yourself again. But here's the hard truth. Growth through pain doesn't happen automatically. Some people go through hard things and stay bitter, stuck, or shut down for years. Why? Because they resist the lesson. They stay angry at the world. They make pain their identity instead of their turning point. But if you lean into IDIF, you sit with the pain and ask, what is this here to teach me? You take your power back. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the architect of your healing. There's a reason people say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's not just a cliche, it's a challenge, it's a call to action, it's life daring you to rise, and you can rise. You already have before, even if you didn't notice it. Every time you got through something you thought would break you, that was growth. Every time you kept moving forward when no one believed in you, that was resilience. Every time you stood up for yourself, even with shaking hands, that was courage born from pain. What if you stopped seeing pain as a punishment and started seeing it as preparation? Think about that. Every delay, every closed door, every painful ending, what if it's actually making room for what's next? What if the struggle isn't stopping you? It's strengthening you for something bigger, a stronger relationship, a more aligned path, a version of yourself that doesn't settle. When you understand that pain can be a catalyst, you stop running from it. You start asking different questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But what can I learn from this? Not, how do I get rid of this feeling? But how can I grow through this feeling? That's when everything changes. That's when pain becomes purpose. That's when you start turning your mess into your message. Let me be clear, this doesn't mean you need to love pain. It's not about romanticizing struggle or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about shifting your relationship with pain. About realizing that the fire isn't here to destroy you. It's here to refine you. You don't build emotional strength in calm waters. You build it in the storm. And when you've walked through fire and survived, there's a confidence that no one can give you and no one can take away. And here's another thing. When you grow through pain, you inspire others to do the same. Your story becomes proof that healing is possible. Your scars become someone else's survival guide. You stop hiding your past and start using it. Because someone out there needs to see that it's possible to fall apart and come back stronger. Someone needs to hear how you turned pain into purpose, so they can start believing they can too. So the next time pain shows up in your life, don't just numb it. Don't just avoid it. Take a breath, sit with it, and ask, what is this teaching me? Being broken is not the end. It's the beginning of something extraordinary if you let it be. When life cracks you open, when everything familiar falls apart, when you hit the floor so hard that getting up feels impossible, that's when your transformation begins. See, the problem is we're taught to fear being broken. We associate it with weakness, failure, shame. But what if being broken is what allows you to rebuild in a way that's stronger, clearer, more aligned with who you really are? Think about it. A bone that breaks and heals correctly actually becomes stronger at the point of the break. Isn't that powerful? You don't get weaker from breaking. You get stronger from healing. The same goes for your spirit, your heart, your dreams. When everything you once counted on shatters, it leaves behind a blank space, a place where you can start again, where you can finally get honest about what you want, where you can clear away the old stories, the false beliefs, the people and patterns that weren't serving you in the first place. We live in a world that rewards perfection, performance, and polish. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion, and performance is exhausting. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You need to be real. And real often means raw. Real means breaking down. Real means ugly crying in the bathroom at 2 a.m. because something you counted on is gone. But it also means breakthrough. Because when you're broken, you're finally honest. You're finally open to help, to change, to growth. You stop pretending you've got it all together. And in that moment, you start putting yourself back together on your terms. It's in those broken moments that you realize how strong you really are, not because you avoided pain, but because you moved through it. Not because you stayed the same, but because you allowed yourself to evolve. You start to see that your worth was never in the things that fell apart. It was always in you. And when you stop looking outside yourself for validation, for love, for purpose, that's when you get free. Don't rush your healing. Don't slap a motivational quote on your pain and pretend you're fine. Feel it, honor it, then use it. Use every piece of your brokenness as building blocks. You lost the job, build something better. You went through a breakup, reconnect with yourself. You hit rock bottom, start laying the foundation for the next version of you, because trust me, it's going to be the most authentic, grounded, powerful version you've ever been. Let's stop pretending that broken people aren't valuable. Some of the strongest, wisest, most inspiring people you will ever meet are the ones who've been through hell and came back with a fire inside them. They didn't come back perfect. They came back real. And that's what makes them powerful. They stopped hiding their cracks and started letting the light shine through them. There's this Japanese art called kintsugi. When pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They repair it with gold. They honor the cracks instead of hiding them, because those cracks are part of the story. They're what make the piece unique, beautiful, resilient. That's you. Your cracks, your breaks, your scars, they don't diminish your value. They increase it. They're proof that you've lived, that you've hurt, that you've healed, that you've grown. So if you feel broken right now, if you're in the thick of the storm, if life has knocked the wind out of you, don't you dare count yourself out. This isn't where your story ends. It's where it starts to get good. You may not see it yet. You may feel like you're barely surviving. But I promise you, there is strength being forged in you right now. There is clarity rising from your confusion. There is purpose waiting on the other side of your pain. The key is not to numb the brokenness, not to bypass it. The key is to embrace it, to be brave enough to face it. Most people don't realize that every struggle they face is not a stop signal, it's a green light, a signal that says, go deeper. Struggle has a way of waking you up to your own potential. It's like resistance training for your soul. When life pushes back, that's not the universe trying to break you, it's trying to build you. And I mean really build you. Build your grit. Build your faith. Build your clarity. Struggles aren't barriers. They're blueprints. They are pointing directly at the parts of you that are meant to grow. When things go smoothly, we tend to stay the same. Comfort doesn't change, challenge does. So if you're in a place in your life right now where nothing feels easy, I want you to know you're in the right place. You're right where the magic happens, because nothing great is ever created in ease alone. Greatness is born in the pressure, in the chaos, in the decisions you make when everything feels uncertain. When you're in the middle of a struggle, your mind wants to focus on everything that's going wrong. It wants to amplify the fear, highlight the risk, replay the past, and imagine worst case scenarios for the future. That's your survival brain doing its job. But you've got to rise above that. You've got to choose your focus, because whatever you focus on, you fuel. You focus on fear, you'll feed it. But if you focus on growth, now we're talking. Struggle becomes training ground. It becomes data. It becomes feedback. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is this. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, why is this happening for me? Because even if you didn't choose the struggle, you can choose the meaning you give it. And the meaning you give it will shape your next move. Let's say you lost something, a relationship, a job, a dream. You can tell yourself that it means you're a failure. Or you can tell yourself it means it's time to rebuild, to reinvent, to rise. Same situation, different mindset, different outcome. That's what I mean when I say your struggle is your strength. It's not just about endurance. It's about the lessons you pull out of the pain, the deeper wisdom, the self-awareness, the grit, the ability to say, I've been through worse and I'm still here. That's strength. That's the kind of strength you can't fake, you can't buy, and nobody can take from you. Some people will never know what they're capable of because they've never been tested. But you've been through some stuff, and you're still standing. You've been knocked down and had to figure out how to get up without applause, without help, without a plan. That kind of strength, that's unshakable, that's internal power, and that's what the struggle gave you. We don't get to control when the struggle comes, but we do get to control how we respond. And if you respond with courage, with honesty, with a willingness to grow, then struggle becomes your superpower. Every scar becomes a symbol of resilience. Every failure becomes a masterclass in self-leadership. Every setback becomes a setup for something better. Now, let me be real. Choosing strength in the middle of struggle isn't easy. It doesn't mean denying your pain or pretending to be okay when you're not. It means honoring the pain but refusing to be owned by it. It means crying, screaming, breaking if you need to, and then getting back up and saying, this doesn't get to define me. You define you. Always. Struggle will teach you who your real friends are. It will reveal your blind spots. It will strip away your distractions. It will show you what truly matters. Struggle simplifies. It gets you back to the basics. It helps you reconnect with your purpose, your power, your truth. There's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've faced the worst and survived. From knowing that no matter what life throws your way, you've got the tools, the mindset, and the inner fire to handle it. When you embrace your story, especially the messy, painful, confusing parts of it, you reclaim your power. So many people try to outrun their past, to ignore the things they've gone through because they think that's what strength looks like. But that's not strength, that's fear disguised as control. Real strength comes from saying, yes, this happened to me. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it left scars. But I'm still here, and I'm not ashamed of what I've survived. Your story is your superpower. It's not a weakness, it's a map. Every hardship you've experienced has shaped your perspective, your character, your ability to connect with others. There is someone out there right now who needs to hear exactly what you've lived through so they know they're not alone. But you can't do that if you're still hiding from your story. When you own it, when you stand in it fully, without flinching, you inspire others to do the same. And I'll tell you what, that kind of honesty, that's magnetic. When you stop pretending and just get real, people feel it. They trust it. And more importantly, you start trusting yourself. You no longer need to perform or prove or hide. You just be. And from that place of self-acceptance, everything in your life starts to shift. Your relationships deepen, your confidence grows. You start showing up in rooms differently, not needing permission, not needing validation, just grounded in who you are and where you've been. A lot of people are scared to own their story because they think it defines them. But here's the truth. Your story isn't your identity, it's your evidence. It's the proof of your strength, your growth, your evolution. You're not who you were in the hardest moment of your life. You're who you became because of it. That's the difference. Think about it. How many of the most meaningful moments in your life have come after pain, after loss, after failure? It's in the aftermath that we find clarity. It's when we're cracked open that the light comes in. When you embrace your story, you stop being a prisoner of your past and start becoming the author of your future. You take the pen back. You decide what it means. You decide what comes next. And let's get something straight. It doesn't mean you glorify the pain. It means you transform it. You alchemize it. You take the thing that tried to break you and you use it to build something beautiful, a perspective, a boundary, a lesson, a mission, whatever it is. You turn that pain into power, into purpose. This is how legacy is built. Not by pretending you've never struggled, but by turning your struggle into something that serves you and others. You weren't meant to go through all of that just to keep it hidden. You were meant to rise and then help others do the same. Owning your story also sets you free from shame, because shame can't survive in the light. The more you speak your truth, the less power your past holds over you. The things you're most afraid to admit, they're often the things that will unlock your greatest freedom. And here's something most people don't realize. When you try to avoid your pain, you avoid your power. The two are linked. Your power is inside the pain, not on the other side of it. You've got to go through it to get to it. It's not easy. It takes courage. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to revisit places you'd rather leave behind. But that's where healing happens. That's where self-trust is built. Every time you face something you thought you couldn't handle, you remind yourself, I can do hard things. And that's how you rebuild the relationship with yourself. This is also how you create real, lasting change in your life, because you're no longer reacting from a place of pain. You're responding from a place of wisdom. You're not repeating old patterns. You're rewriting the narrative. You're not avoiding discomfort. You're growing through it. That's the kind of transformation that sticks. Your struggles are not setbacks. They are setups for your growth. That may sound like a motivational poster, but let's get real about it. The very thing you're fighting through right now could be the exact thing building the version of you you've been dreaming of becoming. The pain, the failure, the rejection, the heartbreak, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to refine you. You just have to choose how you respond to it. And that's the difference between someone who's stuck and someone who rises. It's not what they went through, it's what they did with it. You see, growth isn't passive. You don't wake up one day wiser just because time passed. You grow when you choose to look your pain in the face and say, okay, what can I learn from this? You grow when you choose not to let the hard things make you hard, when you choose to keep your heart open even when life tries to shut it down. And you grow when you stop seeing challenges as curses and start seeing them as catalysts. You have to get honest with yourself. Every time something falls apart, maybe it's a job, a relationship, a dream, you have two choices. You can sit in the rubble and ask, why me? Or you can get up and ask, what now? Growth lives in the second question, what now? Forces you to move forward. It forces you to adapt, to stretch, to rise. And every time you choose to rise, even if it's just an inch, you are evolving, you are becoming, you are stepping into your power. Here's the truth. Most people avoid growth because it's uncomfortable, because it hurts. because it asks us to let go of who we were in order to become who we're meant to be. And letting go, that's scary. But it's also necessary. You can't carry old versions of yourself into the life you're trying to create. You can't hold on to outdated beliefs, toxic habits, or limiting narratives and expect to thrive. You've got to prune what no longer serves you. That's how you make space for growth. And you know what else? Growth is not loud. It's not always some big breakthrough or life-changing moment. Sometimes it's quiet. It's choosing to respond differently than you did yesterday. It's noticing your triggers and pausing instead of reacting. It's getting up and showing up when you don't feel like it. These small, unglamorous choices, that's where transformation happens. That's where you build character. That's where you learn what you're made of. You don't grow by staying comfortable. You grow by leaning into the discomfort, by asking hard questions, by doing the inner work even when no one's watching. Growth requires courage. It requires resilience. It requires patience. And most importantly, it requires you. You have to want it more than you want the comfort of staying the same. There will be times when growth feels like chaos, when everything around you is shifting and nothing feels certain. That's okay. That's part of the process. Growth often looks like destruction before it looks like creation. Think about it. A seed has to crack open before it becomes a tree. A caterpillar dissolves in a cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. The old must fall away for the new to emerge. That's not failure, that's transformation. So if you're in the middle of the mess right now, take a breath and remind yourself, this is not the end. This is the becoming. This is the stretch. And on the other side of this discomfort is a version of you that is wiser, stronger, and more aligned with your purpose than ever before. And let's stop glamorizing ease. Real growth often looks like tears on your pillow, awkward conversations, learning to set boundaries, losing people you love, starting over, doubting yourself, and showing up anyway. It's not pretty, but it's real. And real is where the power lives. Real is where the transformation sticks. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're evolving at the exact pace you're meant to.